everyone, welcome to ALDALINGUO channel lesson 9. In lesson 9, we're gonna learn 9 syllables. 그, 느, 드, 르, 스, 치, 크, 트, 프. So, we're going to use 9 syllables to make 27 words in this lesson. So, there might come a new challenge in pronunciation. For this part of the lesson, we'll use 3 consonants and just 1 vowel. So, pay close attention to the pronunciation of today's vowel. And let's get started. 그, 그림자, 그림자, shadow. So, there are various ways we use shadows for entertainment. We can make a magic show or puppet play by using shadow. The first shadow puppet in the world came from China. It was first made for the royal family. So, in time, the shadow puppet became a universal play for citizens. The example of many shadow puppet plays were folk stories and a series of royal court. The paper puppets became popular, and the techniques of making these puppets were passed on to many Asian countries such as India, Indonesia, and Malaysia, and others. So in these countries, they made their own show, the shadow, the puppets to reflect their own culture. So people around the world are still using shadow plays. So what are some of your favorite types of play? And what's your favorite story of the puppet play? 그리기, drawing. So, who's your most favorite artist in history? Michelangelo is my favorite artist. Michelangelo's masterpiece, the Sistine Chapel, is one of the most impressive and well-known works worldwide. Our scriptwriter went to Vatican last January. He showed us a photo of the Sistine Chapel paintings. I could not imagine how big and detailed it was. According to the history book, the Michelangelo drew and painted for about 60 years, even losing his eyesight before he finally finished his work. Along with this artwork, he left many masterpieces around Italy and the rest of Europe. 그네, swing. So, do you like to participate in extreme sports? I have done some extreme sports like bungee jumping and gliding and jet skiing. So I love these sports because they're real rush, I love going to amusement parks with my friends. My friends and I love riding roller coasters, extreme swings, and riding them over and over again. A few months ago, I was watching a TV reality show named Running Man. Members of the show went to New Zealand to ride Navy swing, which is kind of like bungee swing. They reacted with the excitement and screaming. I also felt excited and thrilled when I watched this. So I felt as if I were taking a Navy swing with them. I found the video clip of Navy swing on YouTube and have watched it many times. Luckily, I had the chance to hear about the experience of Navy swing from my friend. He said, this is the swing you have to try once before you die. I definitely agree with this opinion, and let's all meet in New Zealand to ride the Navy swing. 느리다, slow. So, what types of people do you work well with? For me, I appreciate people who work quickly and accurately. So these type of people motivate me and energize the work we do together. In contrast, I cannot work with people who work slow because I'm adapted to fast and accurate work style. I tend to pressure or push my colleagues to finish their work in timely manner. I'm sure there are many benefits to working quick. I think there will probably be more disadvantages like burning out, a lack of energy. In order not to suffer from these effects, we should slow down, take our time doing daily tasks like eating, Slowing down gives us time to look closely at the details of our work. And to keep steady pace, a slow and steady wins the race. That is the answer. So of course it's hard, but I think it's important to try. 느, 으, 느, 느티나무, 느티나무, Zagua tree. So when you go to the countryside, we can see Zagua trees in the center of the village. People gather around the trees to meet together with other villagers there. The grandparents of the village will sometimes tell the folk stories of the Zagua tree, and it's the mystical powers, you know. So I don't believe these stories, but I found the stories fascinating. Each Zagua tree has their own story. Zagua trees are one of the largest trees in nature, and they have big branches and leaves whose shade make a nice cooling place for people to enjoy. What are some local trees in your area, and do they have any mythology? 느, 으, 느, 하느님, 느, 하느님, God. So, are there any subscribers from Europe? If there are, I'm sure you're familiar with the many beautiful cathedrals throughout Europe. Cathedrals like the Notre Dame, and Milan Cathedral, and Sagrada Familia, and others have been around for centuries. So these buildings have become a popular tourism spot in their cities, but originally they were made as houses of worship for God and the Catholic saints in the Middle Ages. During that time, Europeans looked to their faith in God while handling a different global pandemic. They built the cathedrals in large sites with ornate detail and decoration. I've been to some cathedrals in Europe, and I could feel the sincerity of those people relying on God. Even now, we are still finding God in our daily lives. 드리다, 드리다, give. So, what kind of gifts do you give someone you like? Food, rose, mastics, or something else? So, I like to give many types of gifts depending on the situation. I think someone who has a girlfriend or boyfriend has many experiences to give presents. It is also common to give presents to close friends. In my case, I always prepare the presents for a special day, like Mother's Day and my parents' birthdays. So at the time, I give words to my parents, or perhaps some money for them. Do you know why I give these things to them? Because it is traditional to show respect to my parents. So when I see the smile on their face, I'm very happy. And I love giving gifts to my closest friends, and I'm so grateful when they are happy about my present to them. So, do you enjoy to give or to receive more? 드, 으, 드, 드레스, 드, 드레스, dress. So, do you have art classes in your school? I took art classes in my primary, middle, and high school. In art class, we learn about paintings from Middle Ages and a Renaissance era. So, in this era, there are many paintings of women in ornate dresses. When you look at the paintings from this era, you can see the women are painted with very thin waist. People in this era consider a thin waist to be a symbol of beauty. Complex and painful corsets were worn in everyday life and reflected in these paintings. These corsets often caused the physical problems and painful women trapped in them all day. So even today, some perfumers rely on extreme corseting to create this shape with a painfully small waist. So beauty and fashion are desirable, but we must not forget that health is most important. 드, 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 카드, 드, 카드, card. So card games are commonly known and enjoyed throughout the world. But in European history, the card games began as privilege of the aristocracy. So nobilities and royal families loved to gather in the secret places to play cards. In the Renaissance ages, as art progressed, people created different patterns for cards. So, in folk museums around Europe, we can see decks of the cards with a variety of opulent designs, along with other everyday items belonging to those who lived in luxury. So, these days, people commonly play card games just for fun. Besides that, the magicians are still inventing the magic of card too. Alright guys, so this ends our first session of lesson 9. So in this lesson, we had 9 words, so it's a little simpler than the previous lessons. So however, the vowel U is a bit more difficult to pronounce. So good practice will help enhance your skill. Be sure to rewatch this video, and remember, there are writing practice videos too. So see you next time guys. Hello everyone, welcome to the second session of lesson 9. So, in this lesson, we're gonna learn 3 syllables, l, s, and ch. So, these 3 syllables are made by 3 consonants. So, lir, xiu, qi, and a vowel, u. So, in my opinion, the vowel u is a little bit hard for foreigners to pronounce. So don't be discouraged, but pay close attention to the sounds and your practice. So here we go. L, 요구르트, 요구르트, yogurt. So yogurt is known to be healthy food with famous varieties coming from Greece and Bulgaria. I have tried Greek yogurt, but I found it to not be my style. So I'm more adapted to sweet-tasting Korean yogurt. So people say the plain yogurt is good for our health, but people also love putting honey or strawberry or blueberry fruit inside to make it sweeter and a more filling snack when you can eat it anywhere. So yogurt has become the popular snack for those trying to lose weight. But if we eat it with other snacks added in, so that's a lot of the extra sugar not good for losing weight, you know. So it might be hard to eat just plain yogurt. So I think it would be better to eat yogurt with fresh fruit to add sweetness and health benefits without too much extra sugar. L, 오르다, 오르다, climb. So what I usually do increasing lung capacity, swimming or running. I usually go hiking. Around my area, there are many steep mountains of middle difficulty that I can use to practice my the breath control and exercise on. So climbing mountains is one of the easiest ways for people who love sports to get a good workout. So I try to climb regularly by myself or with my mother. So on the mountain, I'm faced with many moments where I lose my breath, I get exhausted, or work very hard. These moments also require me to keep working, I press on, I take a rest, and know I can overcome. So the moment I'm finally at the top is a real thrill for me, you know. So I think the mastering Korea would be a hard course for you to climb up, but don't give up. We'll be with you guys. 가르치다, 가르치다, teach. So do you know the purpose for this channel? Is to teach the Korean language for foreigners. Sadly, we're just meeting online. We make this video as if I were a teacher in real classroom teaching you kindly the Korean language from A to Z. So when you prepare a script and the content for our video, we often search for other videos of how to teach a language to foreigners online. There are so many teaching styles on YouTube that we are always thinking about which styles would be better for our subscribers. So every moment when I'm taking this video is a challenge. I just hope that our subscribers love these videos so much. So guys, keep sending your heart on our channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And keep posting your comments and suggestions. And we will try hard to keep improving our lessons for you guys. So we appreciate you all so much. Skate. Skate. So I love watching all sports programs, especially baseball is my favorite. But I also love watching the Winter Olympic because the highlight of winter game is skating. So exciting matches include the speed skating and short track and figure skating and ice hockey. So among them, I love to watch speed skating and short track the most because the Korean players are doing their best on each match. The skill of Korean athletes compared to the skaters from the Netherlands and Canada and United States makes for a dynamic drama, you know. So another attractive point of the skating are the techniques that allow athletes to compete to so skillfully, you know. So it's thrilling. So in winter, I sometimes go to the skating rink with my friends. I can't be sure if the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics will be held because of coronavirus, but if it will be held, I will cheer for Korean team skaters. Ski. So I've been studying in Switzerland recently, but now because of Corona, I cannot study there. So winter is lovely season in Switzerland, and many tourists visit there for the skiing. So specific regions such as Interlaken, we can see many people from the Swiss area and all over the world bring their ski equipment to ride from mountain top to the town, you know. So some people climb the Alps mountain, and others take the Jungfrau train, you know. So at each train stop is for skiers, and the backpackers are well prepared to welcome tourists and the visitors. So I've had the opportunity to ski the mountains in Switzerland, and I believe it was the smoother ride than in Korea. So now the weather in Korea is the end of autumn and entering into the winter. I'm not sure if I'll be able to go skiing this year, but I will make a plan for a future ski trip. Sphinx. So when you hear the word Sphinx, what comes to mind? People commonly think of the Egypt and the Giza pyramids because the Sphinx sits right in front of them. So as well, some might think of the riddle of Sphinx in Greek mythology, especially the story of the Oedipus. So, but here is another interesting place related to the Sphinx name. At the summit of Jungfrau in Switzerland, there is an observatory called the Sphinx Observatory. So there is no Sphinx stage, and rather, it is named for the rocky summit known as Sphinx. So the Sphinx Observatory is a famous spot in Jungfrau because a famous James Bond film was filmed there, and the fans come to see the recognizable sight. So a Sphinx Observatory is also friendly for Korean because we can eat Korean ramen and take a picture with the Swiss flag and of the beautiful snow landscapes. I cannot explain how wide and amazing the view is, so you must go there in the near future. So you should. One more tip. There is a delicious chocolate store in the Sphinx Observatory. 츠, 으, 츠, 와이셔츠, 츠, 와이셔츠, 와이셔츠. So let's talk about this item, waishers. Most of you are familiar with t-shirts, but some aren't familiar with the phrase waishers, right? So if you saw the film Kingsman, you can see the main character go to tailor to make his own suit. Having custom-made clothing like this is called the bespoke clothes. So made just for the wearer. So the tailor measured the size of suit jacket and white shirt for him. Here I need to explain that a white shirt is the item of clothing also known as a button-down shirt or the dress shirt. These are worn with a suit and ties. They have measured curves and look best in formal wear. So the name white shirt developed from the shape of the shirt collar when open. It forms a kind of Y shape. Ever heard these terms before? The white shirt and bespoke. These words are known in Korea because of popular the Samsung commercials, but they are commonly used in Japan as well. Anyway, turning back to the main contents. A tailor-made clothing gives us the sense of quality and the pride as tailor focused on making the best white shirts and suits for customers. However, it's common in Europe and here in Korea for tailor shops to be replaced by ready-made goods. I can understand people are more likely to choose cheaper and more convenient ways of shopping, but I appreciate the living history of tailors. Have you ever visited a tailor or been to an event that needed special made clothes? Leave your story in the comments. 츠, 으, 치, 부츠, 츠, 부츠, boots. So boots are an essential fashion item. Back in history, boots were originally made for men in Carolingian dynasty of Middle Ages. So, on the beginning, boots were made of the cow leather and designed for men. Over time, the heels of the boots got higher. So when kings rode their horses for hunting, they also wore boots to prevent themselves from getting dirty. So throughout time, the style and the function of boots have evolved, and they have also become a popular fashion item among women. So on YouTube or on TV, you can see women wearing boots in fashion show. So marketing and sales at department store also focus on women shoppers. In entertainment, there are famous mentions of boots. So the first is the musical of the Kinky Boots, and the other is the famous character. So perhaps you know the cat, right? So Puss in Boots is very famous and old. The character of children's story and the nursery the rhymes. So he even makes an appearance in the movie Shock. 츠, 으, 츠, t-shirt, 츠, t-shirt, t-shirt. So I have a lot of interest in fashion, so I'm always searching clothes online. So t-shirts are a comfortable clothing item that seems to match well with jeans for most occasions. But I worry when I wear t-shirts and jeans what others will think of my image. My mother doesn't mind my buying clothes, but sometimes she complains that I have no space to put them all. So I understand my mother, but I want to have my own clothing room. One day, when I have my own house, I will have a single room for clothing, just like celebrities do. So, this is the end of our lesson. So, I'm so grateful that you're still studying Korean letters and words, but it gets difficult. So, when I see the replies to our writing practice trying these words, It gives me a good energy and makes me smile all day. So guys, keep up the good work everybody. So, see you again. Bye bye. Hello guys, welcome to the last session of lesson 9. So, like we have always done, we're gonna learn 3 syllables. K, T, and P. These syllables consist of 3 consonants, Kyo, Tig, and P. So, and a vowel, U. In this session, there are some words that are pronounced similar to English words, so pay close attention to their slight change with Korean pronunciation. So now, let's just start today's session and enjoy it. K, U, K, crane, K, crane, crane. So Korea has the Lotte Tower, and United Arab Emirates has the Burj Khalifa, and Canada has the CN Tower. Can you guess what they have in common? They are all skyscrapers. So in a documentary about these externally the buildings, you can witness the construction progress to completion using higher and higher cranes. The most mysterious thing about it is how the cranes keep elevating and how the workers aren't scared to go further and further up. In addition to this, I'm so respectful of the master builders and how they control the cranes. So when I work next to the construction site, I'm always curious about it. So do you feel the same as me, or do you just pass by? K, U, K, crackle, K, crackle, cracker. So by the time this video is uploaded, I might already be in army, beginning my military requirement. So some of my friends have already finished their military conscription, but I have not. So I worry about what I will endure during my military service. Some of my friends said the time they enjoyed the most was going to the PX to buy snacks. A commonly chosen snack are the crackers with the mayo flavor. So I've never tried them, but I suspect I might snack on them a lot as it's easy to do so when I'm stressed. So my friends have said that just about any food will be satisfying when I'm hungry in my military service. So this is comfort food, but especially the crackers with mayo is popular. So I don't know what to expect from my time in service, but I will remember to make my own crackle recipe. K, U, K, mask, K, mask, mask. So lately in the news, there are many stories about Europeans and Americans demonstrating against wearing masks. Some people think it is weird, but other people think it is right to not wear a mask. I'm so curious about why people think this way. Our script editor, who is American, has many strong opinions about these people. So I saw some news stories that mentioned that the protesters believe the current virus is much like the Spanish influenza, and since humans survived that, so they believe we can survive COVID-19 without masks. An interesting fact is that even during the Spanish flu pandemic, you can find news stories about people protesting against wearing flu masks. In my viewpoint, there are still lots of infection cases in Korea, so it's good that the mass media still emphasize the importance of wearing masks. I know that we are all trying wearing masks. Inventing a coronavirus vaccine might take more than a year before we can come and receive it. So we should be wearing masks in public places and outside. So I can understand your opinion of not wearing masks, but do not forget the fact that the cost of not wearing masks to stop the spread is high price to pay. 트, 으, 트, 트럭, 트, 트럭, truck. So tourism hotspots often have access to food trucks. So from food trucks, we can buy delicious snacks such as hot dog and hamburgers or the pizzas. Food trucks are commonly found in Western countries, and now Korea is creating its own food truck experiences for tasty street food. So food trucks are becoming part of the Korean youth culture. So night markets are open on special days and there you can find many food trucks. Aside from food trucks, we also commonly use trucks to sell vegetables and fruits. I can't imagine how many different menus are in the food trucks of the foreign countries. I wonder which ones are most delicious. I'd like to go abroad for the exploring food trucks in the near future, perhaps after finishing my military conscription. 트, 으, 트, 아파트, 트, 아파트, apartment. So, what's your favorite types of future house? Me, I want to live in a large apartment on my own or with my future wife. So, I'm always saying that I want to have my own house in the future. I sometimes write about what I might put in my future house and how to decorate my home. So, let me tell you about my future house briefly. So, first, I will install a big screen television in the living room and hang off the framed baseball uniform on the wall. So second, I want to have my own clothing room with a full season of clothes, sunglasses, and the caps. Third, I want to install two refrigerators in my kitchen. One is for only alcohols, and the other is for just food. So, finally, I want to put a big bed in my bedroom and install a beam projector on the bedroom wall. That's it. So, I just decorated it to you in short, and I'm still learning how to decorate the home by going to IKEA and from watching TV programs. So, there will be more tips for decorating homes beautifully. I just want to live alone in the future to grow my decorating skill. 트, 으, 트, 요트, 트, 요트, yacht. So, tourism is an essential industry for countries all over the world. Marine tourism is a common industry for countries which are next to the ocean. So, we can find many yachts anchored at ports like Busan or the Southern Sea area of Korea. So, the yacht tours are not popular for Koreans because many people think the marine tourism is only for the rich. So, on the TV tourism programs, I can see many tourists enjoy yacht parties at Ibiza or in the Dubai. So, where they can yachting at cheaper prices. So, yacht tours could be a dream for many people, but for some, it is hard because of the seasickness. So, I think it would be better to hold a party on an anchored yacht rather than traveling long distances out to sea. So I hope one day to enjoy my own yacht tour on Ibiza or Mediterranean Sea. P, 으, P, tape, P, tape, tape. So when I think of tape, I think of how it is used in my life most commonly with sports. So when you watch a sports event like the Asian Games or the Olympics on TV, you can see athletes put tape on different parts of their bodies. So do you know why they are taping up their body? It's because it helps players to prevent injuries and keeps injured areas stable during play. Also, the tape can benefit speed and accuracy when they are concentrating on each match. So I still play baseball these days, and that puts me in danger of injury. A few years ago, my baseball coaches would help me to tape my body when needed. But now I'm well practiced at the taping, which requires skill to do. And sometimes I even help my team's junior players with it. When most people think of tape, they think the 3 meters or the scotch tape. But don't forget, the taping can be for sports too. P, 으, P, 프라이팬, P, 프라이팬, pan. So my mother usually prepares my breakfast and dinner. She's very good at cooking so that her foods are all delicious. But when my mother goes out early in the morning, I have to make my own breakfast myself. With a fry pan on the burner, I get eggs from the refrigerator, along with the butter and bread. Can you guess what I'm going to make? This is one way of making toast. It takes about like 15 minutes, much longer than a toaster, right? But I have been doing it this way for a while. Aside from toast, I love frying ham and other meats or vegetables on the pan. I sometimes think about like when I'm married, I wish to have breakfast made by a wife. But it's just my dream, so I cook many foods with just the pan alone. But I must level up my skill. P, 으, P, 프랑스, P, 프랑스, France. So people love to go to the France for the museums, such as Louvre and Orsay Museum. Do you know why? Because France is a country that celebrates the arts. Many people come to explore famous works, but also many come to study art professionally in many fields. I have visited Paris, France, personally. I especially hold dear the memory of visiting the Louvre for the first time to see the Mona Lisa. The line was very long, but worth it. So I was happy to be there. People from all over the world come to see these famous and historical paintings and sculptures. So one aspect that impressed me was seeing how politely and peacefully local French citizens were viewing the artworks. That is the cultural power of France. So, reverent and respectful of this art space. So, the French culture has influenced other around the world. So, guys, what kind of influence has France had on you? So, and what do you love about France? Alright, so this is the end of lesson 9. So I think this lesson's letters and words are as difficult as lesson 4 in the past. But I think it's just a small step for you to become a master of the Korean language. So next lesson, will be lesson 10. I will explore the vowel E. I believe lesson 10 is easier than lesson 9 for you to learn. So please wait for next lesson's exciting contents and don't forget to review the words of lesson 9. So guys, see you next time. Bye bye.